Hello and welcome back to my kitchen. Today it's Stir Up Sunday, which is the traditional day to make your Christmas cake, and I'm going to be showing you how to make my last minute Christmas cake recipe, which is super quick and easy if you have left it a little bit too late. So let's get started. So you can make this cake recipe ahead of time, but what I really like is if you want to make it just a couple of days before Christmas, you can, and it will be just as tasty. So I've got in here a kilo of mixed fruit. I've just bought the cheap kind because we're going to be adding all our own flavour to it. So I'm going to be starting with some hot tea, and this is very strong tea made with 3 tea bags. And to that I'm going to add some marmalade. I'm using a blood orange marmalade, which is my favourite, but you can use whichever you prefer. And we're going to just basically melt that marmalade in the hot tea. I'm going to pour that over. And then to our bowl, I'm also going to be adding in our glace cherries and some extra mixed peel. I'm just going to give this a stir, just to mix that marmalade through. And I absolutely love glace cherries in my Christmas cake. I just think they give a lovely pop of colour and flavour. And then to our bowl, we're going to be adding the zest of 2 oranges. I'm just going to stir that zest through. Just get it all nice and mixed up. And then the last thing that we're going to add is some alcohol. Now, I'm going to be adding about 100 mils of alcohol to this. If you'd rather not, you can use orange juice, that's absolutely fine. And I've got a nice little selection here. I've got some port, sherry, brandy, amaretto, and I've also got a whiskey liqueur, which is really, really nice. It's made here in Wales. So I'm just going to be making up to my 100 mils with a mixture of these. You can use 1 or more of them. And if you go a little bit over, that's absolutely fine as well. I think sherry's got to be my favourite at Christmas time. I definitely drink more than I cook with. And I'm just going to tip that all in. I've given that a good mix. And now what we're going to do is leave it to soak. So ideally you want to leave it overnight. I've left mine up to a week before now, as long as you've got it really well covered, and just stir it every day, depending on how much time you've got. But I'll be coming back and making this later on today. So it's been a couple of hours now, probably like 6 hours, and my fruit's looking lovely and soft, and it's absorbed all that alcohol that we gave it, and it's smelling really lovely and Christmassy. I'm going to make the sponge now for the fruit to go into. So I'm going to start with my stalk, and then I've got soft brown sugar. We're going to cream those together. And to this now I'm going to add 2 of my eggs. And some of my flour that I've already weighed out and added a little bit of salt to. And we're going to blitz those in. Now I'm going to add the rest of my flour with that little bit of salt. I've got some mixed spice, which I'm going to add. And I've got 100 grams of chopped nuts. You can use whatever you have there or what you prefer. And these are hazelnuts, walnuts and almonds. I usually like to include pecans, but I haven't got any at the moment. And that's a nice thing about a Christmas cake. When you make it yourself, you can sort of add the bits you like. Like, I absolutely love nuts in my Christmas cake, and I wouldn't be without them. But I know not everyone likes them. So I'm just going to pop all this in. Oh, it smells so good. And we're going to just give this a really good mix. Just folding it all into the cake mix. It really does feel like Christmas. This cake mix would normally make an 8 to 10 inch cake, depending on how deep you want it. But I'm going to be making a 6 inch today. And I also want to make a couple of half spheres, which I'm going to decorate and give for presents at Christmas time. And then I'm also going to make some little tiny mini Christmas cakes as well to go on top of my Christmas cake cheesecake, which I'm going to be making in the next couple of weeks. And I will be uploading for you to follow along if you want to see that. Just going to have a quick tidy up, and then we'll get our tins and we'll get it in the oven. So I've got all of my prepared tins here that I'm going to be using, which I always recommend when you're making a cake, because you want to get it in the oven fairly quickly after you've mixed everything together. And what I've done is, in my traditional cake tin, I have lined the outside with a layer of greaseproof paper. I've lined the sides, and I've also double lined the bottom, because fruitcake can stick, and the parchment on the outside is to stop it cooking too quickly before it's done in the middle. So I'm just going to start with a mini cupcake tin. I've just lightly greased this with Trex, which is a vegetable fat that has no flavour. And we're going to be making little tiny Christmas cake bites. So I'm basically just going to take a teaspoon and spoon in about a teaspoon's worth of my mixture into each of the little compartments. And these will probably cook in about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit less because they're so small. So just check them after about 15-20 minutes and see how we go along. I'm just going to move on to my 6-inch round cake. It's not going to rise all that much in the oven, so you do want to fill your tin a fair way up, as opposed to a sponge cake where you would leave a lot of room for it to rise. It will grow a little bit though. So we want about an inch there at the top. There we are, that's looking good. And this little 6-inch will probably take somewhere in about 2 to 3 hours. So my Christmas cakes roll out of the oven. I've got these little ones that are nice and cool now. And I just want to show you how I sort of pop these out. So I literally just run my knife around the side and then pop them out from underneath. And they're really, really tasty. Go on here. Then we get our 6-inch, which is still quite hot from the oven. Just going to take off this extra layer of greaseproof paper. And then we should be able to just tip it out because we lined it. Still quite hot. Perfect. So if it's just a couple of days before Christmas and you've forgotten about your Christmas cake, you can still make this and it'll still be moist and delicious. And if you want to see those ideas of how to decorate it, just see down below and I'll leave the link there for you. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks I'll be putting up a few more ideas of how I decorate my Christmas cakes as well. Thanks very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, and I really hope you enjoy this recipe. It's one that I've made for years and years and years and I absolutely love. If you did like the video, please hit the thumbs up button, and if you want to see more of my videos, please hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all very soon. Bye bye!